What is self-talk? And that picture there is perfect because there she is standing on her own shoulder talking to herself. It's that internal dialogue that we have back and forth with ourself, and it actually is the source of our emotions and our mood because it's the words that we're telling ourselves. It's influenced by our subconscious mind. It can be negative and positive, so we can have negative self-talk and we can have positive self-talk, which means it can be encouraging and distressing. So a lot of our self-talk completely depends on our personality. If we are someone who tends to be optimistic, or if we're someone who tends to be a pessimist. The good news about all of this, though, is that we can change it. We can change our self-talk. It takes some practice and it takes some work, but we can change self-talk. It influences how we feel about ourselves and how we respond to events in our life, is our self-talk. This is a lot of what we do in therapy, and I am a licensed professional counselor. This is a lot of what cognitive behavior therapy is teaching people how to use positive self-talk and how to reframe situations. So we're going to do some examples before the end of the program. And positive self-talk and positive self-thinking can be an effective stress management tool. That's why we're doing it today. So I thought this was interesting. I actually found this quote from Lucille Ball today. I've got up there on the slide. Making optimism a way of life can restore your faith in yourself. So I was looking for the benefits of positive self-talk. So I've got some of them listed here. There's a lot of research that has gone into, because what they'll do is they will compare a group of people who go through and they're being taught positive self-talk, cognitive behavior therapy, that type, and then they'll compare it to people who maybe just go on an antidepressant and that's all they do. And they'll follow them for a period of time and then come out and see, what were the results. So this was a study that was done on healthline.com that said that people who tend to be more optimistic have a better quality of life. It enhances your performance and your general well-being. And then there's a lot of research on athletes using positive self-talk where it helps their performance. Sorry, let me let everybody in here. Admit all. And you can imagine, we've all done this whenever we're getting ready to do something, whether it's an athletic event or not. And we sit there and we can kind of talk ourselves up or talk ourselves down. We can talk ourselves into a panic attack, or we can build our confidence. So imagine athletes getting ready to go out and perform, that self-talk that goes into it. It helps with endurance, greater life satisfaction, and improved immune function. All of these came out of this study that they did on healthline.com. Here's some more. Pain reduction. So we know, we did a program earlier in the year about mindfulness, and mindfulness can kind of go hand in hand here, where they are teaching patients in hospitals mindfulness. They're teaching them meditation. I did a series of meditation when I was doing my therapy after my knee replacement, where it actually reduces pain, and is all what we're telling ourselves. Better cardiovascular health, better physical well-being, less stress and distress. And then here's the big one here. They can't tell exactly why positive self-talk helps with the benefits, but research suggests that it's a mental skill that allows individuals to think differently and be more efficient at coping. That then leads to a reduction of the harmful effects of stress. And that's where it comes. That's why you get the better cardiovascular system. You get the better immune system because of stress reduction. So to understand positive self-talk, you've got to also know how to identify negative self-talk. So here are some of the types of negative self-talk, the most common types of negative self-talk. Let me make my screen bigger so y'all can see it a little bit better. And like I said, you'll get copies of all of these. One of the most common things that we do is we catastrophize. We expect the worst, and we rarely let logic or reason persuade us otherwise. So, we've got something coming up, and we just automatically in our head just know that the worst possible outcome is going to happen. Or we catastrophize. Let's just take COVID, for example. I've been exposed. I've got it. I've been exposed. I've got it. That's it. I don't even need to go get my throat's itching. And we just automatically go to the absolute worst scenario. That's catastrophizing. Then there's magnifying, where you focus on the negative aspects of a situation, ignoring any and all of the positive. Or maybe other people are trying to tell you, but have you thought of it this way? And you're just focused in on the one negative. Personalizing, you blame yourself for everything. But if I would have, I should have. This is where we can get caught in the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and we tend to personalize all of those because we make it about us. If I would have only, and that's negative thinking. I found this quote here. Sometimes it's not the pain that makes you suffer, it's your own negative thoughts that makes things seem worse. It's not the situation, it's what we're saying to ourselves, it's what we're doing to ourselves. Here's some more of the negative self-thinking. Polarizing. You see the world in black and white or in good and bad. There's nothing in between. There's no middle ground for processing. And you categorize life events into two groups. They're either good or they're bad. There's no middle. If you're not seeing yourself in some of these, you may be seeing other people where you're going, oh, I know someone like that. My dad was like that. My brother's like that. I've got a friend like that. And then this is where the ruminations, where we replay the upsetting thoughts or events over and over and over in our head. This can happen to us when we put our head on the pillow at night, where it's like we rewind it and we rewind it and we replay it. That can really snowball on us. It can actually lead to clinical depression. It can lead to a diagnosis of anxiety because of what we're doing to ourselves. Here's an example, and this is how it can really run away with you. I look fat in this dress. I really am fat. Look at those thighs. No wonder I can't get a date. I'm never going to get married. Why can't I lose weight? It's impossible to lose weight. And then off you go. And it all started with, I really look fat in this dress. So we're going to talk about how we could change that kind of a talk. So the first thing you've got to do is recognize the negative self-talk. Sometimes it has just become a habit. It's become the way that we talk to ourselves. We may not even realize how hard we're being on ourselves. So it's when you can recognize the negative thinking, then you can start to turn it around into positive thinking. It takes practice, it takes time, it does not happen overnight, but research has also shown, and in counseling, we can prove and show that children can be taught to self-correct their self-talk. So if we can teach children to do it, we certainly can do it as adults. So how do you implement it? First thing you've got to keep in mind is to implement any new habit or to break a habit takes about 28 days, 28 to 30 days. That's why most of the time when somebody goes to a rehab facility for some type of an addiction, they stay for 28 days, 28 to 30 days. Now that's 28 to 30 days of doing it consistently, day in and day out. So sometimes that 28 days has to start over to make or break a habit. So it takes a while to do this. And if you've been beating yourself up with your self-talk for 30 years, it isn't going to stop overnight. So it's one of those things that we have to continuously work on. Then you identify the negative self-talk and you start to call it what it is. We just went over, and like I said, you're going to get copies of these slides. So we just went over what are the most common types of negative self-talk. There's a lot of them out there, but these are the most common ones. Pinpoint when you experience the most negative self-talk and then prepare. Are you doing it at night? Are you doing it when you're getting dressed? Are you doing it when you're around certain people? So you want to start carrying around. I always suggest that you carry around a little small notebook, you carry around a notepad so that you can, because you want to catch when am I doing this the most? So you pinpoint it. Spend a few days intentionally listening to yourself. Listen closely to those inner dialogues and then think, would I say that to a friend? Would I say that to a loved one? And if it isn't something that you would say to somebody else, then it doesn't need to be something that you'd say to yourself. And then try to identify, is there a theme here? Am I having common themes? And then write down those important or the frequent negative self-talk. If you'll write it down, you're going to be more likely to seriously address it. And I'd suggest, if you can, that you write it down when it happens. That's why, the other thing you can do on these smartphones, we've got that app in there called Notes, where you just make a note. At noon today, I thought, when I tried on that dress at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, I thought, whatever it is. When I woke up this morning, the first thought I had was, and you just start making notes, because what you're looking for your personal pattern. Then you check in with your feelings and you evaluate your self-talk throughout the day. It's really listening as you have those thoughts. You listen. Are you becoming negative? And then you start to work to turn that around. So then you ask yourself questions about those thoughts. Am I overreacting? Is that what this is? Am I making more out of it than I should make out of it? Am I overgeneralizing? Am I using words like always and never all the time? Am I mind reading? We tend to do that, where we think we know what someone else is thinking. They did that because we don't know that. Is this an all or nothing thought? Are you doing that it's good or bad and there's no middle ground? And then how truthful and accurate is the thought? Is it even correct? And allow yourself to say, that wasn't even, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought that, but I can get rid of that now because I realized that was a negative thought. And then trying to find the humor, and laughter can help relieve stress. We can all think back on things that we've thought, things that we've done, and shake our head at ourselves. So where did that come from? Why did I think that? Was I tired? Was I stressed? Was I hungry? Was I thirsty? Where did that come from? When you need a positive boost, watch something that makes you smile. Look at a picture that makes you smile. I keep these little Maxine, you probably can't see it because of my background, Maxine calendars right here by my desk because it makes me smile. And I keep quotes right here in front of my computer because it makes me smile. So finding something that can make you smile or make you laugh is important also. So also in implementation, this is then after you've identified, here's my negative talk, this is what I'm doing, this is my patterns, we're going to switch gears. We're going to look back at those negative words on your list and you reword them in a kinder, more positive light. This is where that cognitive behavior therapy comes in, where you're making the choice to reframe those thoughts. Another thing you can do is intentionally surround yourself with positive people as much as you can, because don't we tend to start acting like and kind of picking up on the emotions of other people, both negative and positive? If we are around somebody that's just down, 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 everything's bad, before long, we're sitting there getting in, everything is pretty bad. It's terrible. What was I thinking? But if you're around that person who's smiling, who's up, who sees the glasses half full and not half empty, it's contagious. Those people are contagious. That's why watching something funny, looking at something funny, bringing that smile to your face, it's contagious. Giving yourself those positive affirmations, like I was just saying, having those sticky notes stuck on your mirror, stuck on the wall, over here where you spend a big part of your day, stick them on your computer screen, anywhere you spend a significant amount of time. And then when you are talking to yourself, and this came from Brene Brown, those of you who might be familiar with Brene Brown, she has studied vulnerability in people. She's a social worker and she's in Houston. She suggests using your own name whenever you're, instead of saying something like I or me, I'll never get this right, switch that and say, Holly will never get this right. Ouch, ouch, that sounds terrible. Holly's going to get this right. She will do. I meant to wear it today. I've got a necklace that says, she believed she could, so she did. Believing that, an affirmation. I looked over there because I've also got it on the back of my door. So she believed she could, so she did. Instead of saying I or me, refer to yourself in the third person with he or she, or use your own name. You'll think more objectively about your emotions and about how you talk to yourself. So here's some examples. I've got the negative on one side and an idea of how to change it on the other. I'll disappoint everyone if I change my mind. And we can get into this as caregivers. If I change something this holiday season, everybody's going to be upset with me. I've got the power and the ability to change my mind, and the others will understand. And leave it at that. You don't have to explain it any further than that. I failed and embarrassed myself. What are others thinking of me? I'm proud of myself for trying. That took courage. So if you want to reframe it and not use the I, she tried, she was courageous. I'm so glad that she did that. You're talking about yourself, or you can use your name. Holly got up there and tried something that she had never tried before. It's an objective way to look at it, and it's an objective way to think about it. I'm overweight and out of shape. Why bother? Hand me another cupcake. I am capable and I am strong and I want to get healthy for me. And putting that in writing is powerful. We're much more likely to commit to it if we put it in writing. I've never done this before and I'll be bad at it. Didn't we all say that back in March when we started having to have programs online? I've never used Zoom for a support group. I don't want to do it. I'll be bad at it. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to learn new things and grow. And look at us, here we are. There's no way this will work. I can and will give it my all to make it work. It's how we say it. A few more examples. I'm an idiot. I really screwed up that presentation. That's the end of my career. Nobody's ever going to call on me to do anything again. And again, that one can just snowball. Instead, it's a lot to do. I'm going to take it one step at a time. I think I'll see if I can get some, oh wait, that's supposed to be the next one. I think I'll see if I can get some help on this one. It's the one that goes with, I can't do that in just a week. It's impossible. Saying it's a lot to do, but I'll take it one step at a time. I think I'll see if I can get some help on this too. I think I flipped those two. Yeah, because the next one was, as I learned from my mistakes, I'm becoming a better person. I might not have done it exactly right, but I learned from it. It's seeing the positive in it. This third one on the negative, a lot of us may have heard this as kids growing up. We may have had people who were in authority over us say, you'll never amount to anything. You never do anything right. So we can say to ourselves, learning to think more positively can help me in many ways. I'm going to try. And then finally, I thought of this one as I was putting this together. This is ridiculous. I can't teach myself how to think more positively. This is just how I am. I've always been this way. I can do better than that. I've got them out of order again. Learning to think more positively can help me in many ways. I'm going to try. That goes with that one. I will get these flipped before I send them out to you. And then you don't have anything to lose with this. It's a win-win situation. Everything about teaching yourself to talk to yourself in a better way is a win-win. And I found this on that same website, the Healthline, banishing your inner critic and learning how to have productive, positive inner conversations has no downside. Some people may find it easier than others to adopt positive self-talk. Others may have to give it more time and put more effort into it. But either way, it's a worthwhile step toward bettering yourself and improving your sense of self-worth. So again, this is one of those where, what have you got to lose? There's really not anything to lose. It does take some time and it takes some dedication to really work on changing the way that you talk to yourself. I do want to show this video is less than 2 minutes. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen so that I can start sharing another one. If you just stick with me a second. Share screen with sound. Okay, I'm going to press play. Maria, I can see you. Would you give me a thumbs up if you can hear this?
In this video,
can you hear it?
3 common phrases that cause anxiety and how to crush them with positive self-talk. And before we get into it, I'd just like to welcome you to Headquarters, the channel where we discuss how to create a happier, more peaceful mind. So if you're struggling with anxiety right now, or you're just trying to be a little more mindful, make sure to click the subscribe button for daily anxiety relief tips. All right, here are the 3 examples. In each one, I'll give you the negative version, and then I'll show you how to turn it into positive self-talk. Number 1, it's a cruel world. The world cannot be described with only one adjective. The world may be cruel, but it's also sunny and warm and habitable. So instead say, it's a cruel world, and it's a sunny one. Number 2, I'm a screw-up. You're not a screw-up. You're just a person who often screws up. Just like the world can't be described with one adjective, neither can you. So when you call yourself a screw up, just say, I'm not a screw up. I'm just a person who screws up often. Number 3, he's a jerk. He's not a jerk. He's just a person who often behaves like a jerk. You see what I did there? You can't sum up a person with just one word. So instead of calling someone a jerk, just say, he's a person who often behaves like a jerk, but he's not a jerk. So the key here is to recognize when you're describing something with a single negative adjective. If you want to learn more about creating positive self-talk.
All right. So just a little example of ways that we can, just by changing the sentence a little bit, it goes from being positive to negative.